These are the songs of our lives. Hello and welcome to the latest episode of Songs of Our Lives. I'm Brad Rose. I'm a musician, a composer, a writer, the founder of Foxy, Digitalis, and somebody who thinks about music and sound far more than is healthy. Each week, I invite on a guest to talk about the songs that have meant the most to them and sort of follow them through their lives. Something like that. This week, I'm super excited to have Beth Hetland, who is a writer and cartoonist and an educator and a whole bunch of things, and somebody that I met last fall when she was in Tulsa. Our mutual friend Carl Antonowicz, who did the intro for this episode, he brought her here as part of a series he did last year called Comics Chat, and she put on like the coolest workshop I've ever been to. It was a zine workshop, and it was basically a way to make a bunch of zines with one piece of paper. So like different like folding techniques and cutting and folding techniques and all these things. And I still think about it all the time. It blew my mind. It was so good. My kid went and thought it was like the greatest thing ever, which, you know, that's a big deal because my kid's kind of jaded and is only 10. So that's the thing. Anyway, it was awesome. And I'm excited that Beth's going to be back here in a month or so. And yeah. I do want to mention that she has her new book coming out called Tender, which is on Fantagraphics. It comes out on March 12th. It is available for pre-order now, and you should totally check it out because, man, Beth rules, and you should check all her stuff out. And so, anyway, we recorded this a couple months ago on Zoom, and it was super fun. Super fun. Like, all of these are fun, so I guess I say that all the time, but this was a lot of fun. Yeah, hope y'all enjoy it. My guest today is a cartoonist, a writer, an educator, a zine workshopper, and an aficionado of human-sized charcuterie boards. Everyone, welcome Beth Hetland.
Woohoo! It's me.
How's it going?
Really well. How are you?
I'm good. It's sunny out, you know, sun is shining, and my life's fine.
Yeah, I'm like a really big winter fan, so even though there's no snow, which I'm sad about, it is sunny, which is a rarity in Chicago as soon as we pass October, so I guess I'll be happy about that.
Yeah, I forget you're in Chicago. Chicago is probably my favorite city in the world. I love Chicago so much.
It's incredible. I mean, it's very gray most of the year, but it's also, I don't know, we get everything. You can do everything here. I'm a huge fan. I mean, I live here, been living here.
Right. How long have you been there? Are you from there?
No, I'm from Wisconsin originally, but you know, good old Midwesterner.
Yes.
I went to college at the School of the Art Institute, which is where I now work. So I did my undergrad there way back. I left that school in 2009, so I graduated in 2009 there, and then I left for 2 years, which is where I met our mutual friend Carl Antonowicz. And was at the goofy cartoon school, which is, some people get confused with clown school. It was, in some ways it's both, but yeah. And then I came back to Chicago kind of right away and started my position teaching. So
that's awesome.
The short version is I've been here for like almost 20 years now, but you know, it's getting up there, which is crazy to me.
Yeah, I love Chicago. It's been my daughter has never been there. We haven't taken her.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, we had plans to go and then COVID happened.
Of course.
And yeah. But anyway. Okay.
I mean, the good thing about Chicago though is that it's always here. So, you know.
Yeah, it's not going anywhere. Yeah. And the gray thing, like, so my wife is from Seattle.
Oh.
I lived there for a year, and everyone's like, "Oh, how did you?" I was like, I loved the rain got bit much at points. I think there was one point where it literally rained for 100 days straight, like not the whole day, but
just like
some part of the day. Yeah, and it was like, okay, I like gray I'm good with, like wet gets annoying. But anyway. So the like you do a lot of things. I don't know if I've mentioned it on here, but you did a zine workshop earlier this year, and I'm assuming you do it. I don't know how often you do it, but it's the coolest workshop I've ever been to.
Thank you.
My kid, it's so good. My kid still talks about it. Like, yeah, and nothing makes an impression on her other than Taylor Swift. So
wow, I'm up there with T-Swin.
Yeah. But we're not going to talk about that. I just wanted to mention it. I want to talk about your book because you have your. Go ahead.
Before we get to that, though, like, fun little teaser is that since you're in Tulsa, which is a place that I almost like, that was my first visit to Tulsa. I had a great time.
Sure.
And guess what? I'm coming back next year.
What?
Yeah, so I'm going to be in town in Tulsa for Tulsa Lit Fest, which is in April. I'm not sure when this will be coming out, but I assume some of your listeners are going to be in Tulsa. So there will be not the same workshop, but probably a different workshop, as well as like I'll be doing a reading and talking about my book, which we're going to talk about in a little bit, but I'll be back in town.
Yes. Okay. Well, yeah, we'll have to hang out, and I'm sure
absolutely
Carl will be in the loop very much.
Oh yes. But that's awesome. I just got word about that like literally 2 days ago. So I'm really excited about it.
Oh, that's awesome. So are you going to do like a different zine workshop, or just a different workshop generally? Or
I haven't figured it out yet. I have,
you got time.
Yeah, I have a bunch that are kind of like in my arsenal, and I want to be mindful. Like the book that we're going to talk about is a horror book, and so the workshop, it needs to be all ages. And this book most certainly is not all.
Okay.
So, so I want to be mindful of like, how am I balancing kind of the involvement and excitement and enthusiasm while also still being true to some of the work that I'm making. So I don't know, it may be some different zine formats that we didn't even get to in that workshop because I have so many more.
I'm sure.
But it could be a more like writing centric, since it's Lit Fest. It might be drawing centric. Not sure yet, but.
Awesome. Well, I'm excited, and I know that my daughter will be excited too.
Yes.
Well, okay, so let's talk about it. So this is your first graphic novel, right?
Yeah, well, first one that somebody else is publishing. So
okay.
Yeah.
So and did you, and so it's, oh my gosh, the cover's like, yeah, nobody can see this, but she's showing this.
I'm holding it up because I just got my advanced copy yesterday in the mail, and I'm like, I was telling Brad, I'm completely glued to it. Like, I can't stop looking at it. I can't stop holding it, which feels really vain, but like, it's my
I get it. Yeah, like it's as a music person, it's the same as like whenever someone would put out a record of mine and I would get a test pressing.
Yeah.
And it's the most exciting. And then, well, the test pressing is not as exciting as that because it doesn't have a cover. It's just a record. And then when you get the actual thing, like seeing a thing in person, like the physical thing, like that's why, that's why physical media is still the best.
Yeah, I totally agree. And like, I'm sure also you can relate is like, especially with music, it's such an intangible thing. Like, you're making this and you're putting it out there. And yes, there are tangible artifacts. And similar to this is my first book where I did it entirely digitally too. So like, I don't even have like some art pages to like hold and caress. It's like, it lives in the cloud.
Yeah. Right.
I mean, it's backed up in 1,000 places, but it's also like, I don't have that physicality. And as somebody who is very rooted in like zine culture and artist books, like I am so used to, I make a thing, I produce a thing, I have the thing. And it has been such a journey to have to sit and wait and like, let go of some of that process, which I'm learning is not my strong suit as like a person. But it's so magical to be like, oh my gosh, like I've been working on this book for like 5 years, and like here it is for someone to read in like 30 minutes. No.
Yeah, that's wow.
I say that with love. Is like, that's the goal, right? It's comics. It's not prose. It's meant to be like a digestible material, but it is sort of this funny disconnect of like the way of making something and then now suddenly having that thing.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I think about, people spend years making an album that lasts 40 minutes and but it's the way it works, I guess. So do you, and now pardon my ignorance here, because the like comics world is outside of my world. Like, I know meeting Carl a couple years ago was sort of my real entryway into, so I know everybody works differently. Do you draw and write? Like, cause I know Carl, like he'll be like, people take jobs where it's like, well, I got to illustrate this thing that somebody wrote, or I gotta, so this is all you.
Yeah. Like, so predominantly, I'm like a very slow writer. And so this is written and drawn entirely by me. And then I also work with a collaborator who's kind of my longtime collaborator buddy, who I have a lot of other projects with. And we kind of, we have a lot of like a natural rhythm where it's typically like I'll do a solo thing and then we'll do a collaborative thing, but the collaborative things move at such a different rate than solo work for me. So oftentimes I'm kind of plugging away slowly on a solo thing while I'm also producing work collaboratively, but it's less of my collaboration with Kyle. I don't think I even said his name, Kyle O'Connell, who's my long-term collaborator. He and I collaborate in a way that's not like he writes a thing, gives it to me, and then there's not like feedback. It's not like I'm being hired as an illustrator. It's really at the root of it is like both of us invested in each part. And so like I can write and he can draw, but we're just faster than the other one at our particular skill set. Gotcha. And so that's kind of where our collaboration intersects.
That's cool.
Yeah. But this one, so Tender itself is a solo one. Yeah.
Is all okay. And so for everybody listening, what's it about?
Yeah.
Like I've read the description, but I don't want to like just read the description then.
Yeah.
I'd rather have you tell it.
So Tender is about this woman, Carol Ann, who wants a picture perfect life and will do anything to get it. That's kind of my like short buzzy one. It's a psychological thriller. It's got body horror elements. I do want to point out there are some pretty massive trigger warnings because it's pretty messed up. There's just casual like animal death, like I said, body horror. So there's like self mutilation, self harm, and then there's also like a stillbirth. That's kind of like the really big one. But there's also, fun stuff like a wedding and like Instagram and like crafting.
You've been posting some pages on Instagram, right? Or like and it's made me really excited to read it. So
thank you.
I highly recommend everybody check that out. And I'm sure that so it comes out March 12th.
Yep.
So I'm sure you are, gosh, does that feel close or far away to you?
I think, it's starting to feel a lot closer because I feel like now that we're recording this like towards the end of December. And it's like, okay, well, everyone's going to be kind of like off the grid and MIA for a couple of weeks. And then suddenly it's a new year, it's January, and then February is a really short month. And so it's like, oh my gosh, like that feels really close now. I think if you had asked me even 2 weeks ago, I would have been like, it's forever.
Right.
So I think that's the perception of time is kind of wild, but it is available for pre-order. You can request it at your local bookstore or comic book shop, or you can order directly from fantagraphics.com. And if you order from Fantagraphics, there's some like bonus stuff that you get as like incentive for ordering through the publisher. But it will be released on March 12th, 2024. Okay. So
I will definitely put links to that in the show notes.
Awesome. Yeah.
And I'm sure once January hits, it's going to just be like light speed.
I know. And it's also like, I'm getting ready for like launch events and like book tour stuff. And so it's kind of like, there's a part of me that's like, it's so far away. And then I'm like, oh wait, I need to get all this stuff planned.
I'm curious about your process a little bit. And especially this is obviously a music podcast. Do you listen to like a lot of music while you're?
Oh my gosh, yes, so much.
Do you have like go-to? I'm curious if you have like, cause I have like go-to albums when I need to like, just like crank through shit. Like do you have stuff like that?
Yeah, for me, it's like, because of comics is such a long process, there are kind of like different phases of music that I'll listen to that help kind of keep my momentum going, especially with a long project. So for me, and I think this isn't totally unusual, but when I'm actually like writing, I need stuff that I can tune out really easily. That's like usually either instrumental or just kind of like hashtag vibes, I guess.
Yeah.
So for this book in particular, I have like a playlist of like soundtracks from horror movies that are really informative for this work.
That's awesome.
And then when I get to penciling is like the most active part of my brain after writing. And so I need something that's like high energy, like upbeat, like sing along, kind of like lose yourself in like the tunes and just like hit like my classics. You know, I'm a millennial, so like 80s music is like a big one, like, you know, early 2000s, late 90s, all of that stuff. And then when I get to inking, I actually, because inking is so relaxing, or like like coloring and inking for me are kind of the same process. It's like basically tracing my artwork I already made decisions on. So it's much more relaxing. And I typically will do audiobooks then. And I'm like,
oh, nice.
I'm a person who's like, if an audiobook's not 20 hours, it's not worth my time.
Oh, wow.
So it's like a lot of audiobooks for a lot of hours. Like I will blast through like, I mean, an 8-hour audiobook is like less than a full drawing day for me. So,
oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's, and like podcasts too, like, so I like a narrative I can kind of get lost in and kind of like have that. But yeah, for this particular book, those phases are, I think,
that's cool.
This is just an example. I think a lot of the other work follows similar paths.
Yeah, that's really interesting. See, like I said, the processes are so of like comics. It's so, I find it all really fascinating. I love learning about other people's creative practices, especially when they're outside of like music. Cause I know, I think about music enough.
I mean, I think music is really important to me. I grew up in like a very music household, and like,
oh really?
Yeah, my mom is a music teacher, and she was a performer. We all grew up playing instruments and singing, and like one of my first kind of like solo graphic novel was my thesis for grad school, and it's all about like using music as a metaphor for how you find like the things you're passionate about, and kind of using my family as like a way to trace our interest in music and things. So
oh my god, that's like so in my wheelhouse.
Yeah, I'll send you a PDF or I'll send you the book. But
that'd be awesome.
It's funny because like I've like lapsed in playing music. I used to play violin for a really long time, and I kind of miss it, but I also recognize there's only like, I can really only devote myself to one thing that like messes up my hands. And I think that's
yeah,
as opposed
that's fair.
to like, just a violin.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's a lesson I still need to learn. It's one of those things of, I totally get it though, where it's like, because I have things where it's like, I used to do this thing and I really miss doing it. And for me, and it's just like, there's only so many hours in the day.
Yeah.
Like I'm trying to get better at saying no to things, like even to people but just to myself. And it's, work in progress. Let's just say.
It's for sure. It's really hard.
Yeah. Yeah. But that's cool. That's really awesome that your mom's a music teacher too. That rules.
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks, Mom.
You've got the educator genes in you, I guess.
Yeah, it's big time. It's big time in there for sure.
Okay, well that's a good segue. Let's get into this.
Okay.
And to start, as always, what is the first song that you remember?
Well, this one is the one that's been haunting you since I sent my list.
Oh, wow. Okay.
But I had I love this list of questions, but I had a really hard time. Like, I don't know if it's just that I have like a crappy memory or like my brain is elsewhere. I don't know. But I was like, oh my gosh, these are so difficult. But Kokomo by the Beach Boys is one of the songs that I remember as like one of my earliest ones. So I don't know if I can 100% say it's the first song, but there is a very, because I grew up in a music household, my dad is like classic dad, like
Yep.
80s rock, dad metal. And my mom has like a really eclectic music taste, but the Beach Boys is one that she really likes. And there's a lot of recordings of me as like a very, very small child attempting to sing Kokomo.
Oh
Beach
man.
Boy.
Oh wow.
And it's that and like Don't Worry, Be Happy are kind of the two that were like my jam, my early karaoke jams, I guess.
Awesome. God, this is I have such distinct memories of listening to this on a cassette, like on repeat in the back of my parents' van on a family trip.
Yes.
And because it was it was the Cocktail soundtrack. I didn't have like the Beach Boys albums on. I had the soundtrack. And I didn't care about anything else on the soundtrack. So it was like constantly rewinding it to just hear this song over and over.
It's such a good song, and like I think there's so many beautiful moments in it, and like I love it as like an adult now. I can really appreciate like each section of the song, but like as a kid it was like I don't know why it just really like lyrically and like melodically like that was like the best.
Yeah. One of the things when I was listening to it, I kind of have a thing for songs that just start listing places. And like because I have geography is a thing I'm really obsessed with. I have for years, my wife and I don't know, this is like I hadn't thought about this in years until I started thinking about this. This is why I like doing the shows, because it sends me on down memory lane. But she took some class in her undergrad that was like a geography class. I was like, I don't know what it was, but she had this she had to buy an atlas for it, and there were so many times where we would just be like laying in our bed and just be like, hey, let's look at the atlas. And we would just like go and like look through it and pull it out and start looking at talking about random places. And and I still love like maps and geography, and this song gets me there, I guess.
That's such a funny, like that's a really cute story, and it's so nerdy.
Oh, I know.
I mean, of course I say that with love, and also the like, I love the subsect of like a music genre that's like, listing places. Let's do
right. And it's a thing. Like there's like the Johnny Cash song. That, like that's the first one that comes to mind. But there's
a bunch.
But I have no. I made the comment about having this stuck in my head for a week, but I'm not too mad about that. So like, there's way worse things to have stuck in my head.
And especially on my list, when you were like, "Oh, I have this haunting me," I was like, "Oh boy, there's a bunch on here that could really send somebody off."
Oh,
so we'll get there.
Yeah, we'll probably get there. Okay. Well, are you a big crier?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay. So what? So I'm sure there's probably multiple songs, but what is the song that will often, like, I have songs where it's like, if I can just feel like I need to cry, I can put on this certain song and just fucking lose it.
I feel like it really depends so much about like what's happening in my life and where I'm at, like mentally and emotionally. Because I am a big crier, I feel like I'm pretty. I don't know that I have experience on it where I'm like, I really need to cry. Like I'm not that. I don't. It's more like, fair. I wish I would stop crying. Like, can I please turn it off for a minute? So some of the ones I have a couple on here. I don't remember. I think I sent you both of these. One of them is "I Will Follow You Into the Dark" by Death Cab for Cutie, which I think is like, it's very emotional. It's very beautiful. It's like, talking about, when there's nowhere else to go and nothing else to trust, like you can trust this person, and like no matter who they are, like you'll follow them like to death and beyond, kind of a thing, is like very woof. And then the other one is "Do You Realize" by the Flaming Lips, which I think is really nice, and is also one of the ones that the reason that one makes me cry is that my partner made like the playlist for like our wedding party. And she basically was like, "This is my 15-hour love letter to Beth." And this is one of the songs on there. And I was just like, the first time I heard it, I was like, ah! Just thinking about like the impact of that from her to me specifically. So
Death Cab for Cutie is a band that just kind of, I don't know, like it just passed me by. It's the band I tried to. I will say,
are we the same age? Did it somehow skip you? I'm 37.
I'm 44,
okay.
so I'm a little
just slightly.
So
maybe.
Yeah. And it was, and I tried. I would go back. And, I don't know. I don't know if I really had. I was thinking about this the other day because other stuff in this vein has come up on recent episodes, and like I don't think I ever had like an emo phase. I don't know if this is really emo. So,
it is, yeah, but, it is.
And one of, like, a thing I talk about all the time that I'm like a big fan of, like being earnest and being vulnerable, like especially like in your music and your art. But there's also a line, and I don't know. And so I was talking about this about 9 Inch Nails the other day, and how Trent, like I can't with Trent Reznor. Like,
interesting.
And that really surprised me. And I realized this the other day, like because I used to love 9 Inch Nails, but his stuff comes off as just sort of whiny now. This is like on the line, but I will say, like, this is, of all the Death Cab for Cutie songs I've listened to in my life, I like this one the best.
Oh, you're just saying that because we're on a Zoom call, you liar.
No, literally. I was surprised. I was like, oh, this is okay. This is, I can see this. And then do you realize, like, there's plenty of things from Oklahoma I will never rep. Those, and I can't even go there from a lot of the Flaming Lips catalog, but Soft Bulletin and Yoshimi are utter fucking those are like examples of, I know, it's like where the stars align and the cosmos just gifts you something. Yeah. And this song is, this might be my favorite Flaming Lips song. It is perfect.
It really is. And I re-listened to it recently, and I was just like completely blown away. Just like, again, just it is one of those times where like the cosmos open and here it was, perfect synchronicity of the band and like the time and everything. Yeah. And this is I don't know that I've had this experience, but I can picture, like, just, this is like a happy cry. So like, just like feeling all the good things and just tears streaming down your face song. Yeah.
And I love this song. So, when I make the playlist for this episode, this is the one's going on there. Sorry, Death Cab for Cutie.
No, it's cool. Yo, it's chill. Honestly, like, that's fine. And I feel like there's a big part of myself that's like really embarrassed about my emo phase, which was, for lack of a better word, like way too long. And I feel like I just, there's some relics that have held on to it and some things that I feel like are still there. And this song just kind of hits me sometimes, but I think I'm totally fine with that being not on your list.
Yeah. I like it. Genuinely, that was the first song by them that I was like, I'm kind of curious to hear more.
All right.
I don't know that I'm going to try, but I am.
You could also just be like, hey, that was the one. I did it.
That's the one. Right. I found it. Moving on now.
Yeah. Because there's a bunch of Death Cab that are just kind of like, right. Okay.
Do you have any idea what the hell their band name means?
No.
Is there some story?
I don't know.
Okay.
I'm not deep enough into the fandom anymore. I guess if we time traveled to like 17-year-old Beth, maybe she would remember or know, but not today. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't really care, but oh man. Okay, well, on the other side of that, what's the song that will put you in a better mood?
Yo, Jump in the Line by Harry Belafonte.
Yes. Yeah, my only note for this is this song just makes me happy.
It's so delightful. I challenge anyone to not be instantly in a better mood after listening to that song. Like, I challenge you.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's one of those songs too. I don't even have to hear it. I can just think of that opening, like, dun, 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 and I'm just like, oh, that makes me happy.
Yeah. It's really fun. I have great associations with the movie Beetlejuice with it, obviously. Mm-hmm. Also, just like, it's so, I don't know. It's very joyous. It's very silly. It's just a fun song.
Yeah. I think it's like a sort of joyfulness in it that is, to me, is like really hard to capture in music the way that they did. And also the fact this song's like 60 something years old, and it's just, it still sounds like contemporary and perfect, and it's timeless.
Yeah, it really, it to me is one that I think really stands the test of time so far. Is like I think there are other songs that put me in a better mood that are contemporary, but I also feel like those border on like, shut the fuck up. Like, I don't care. Like, it's obnoxious now, you know? And I think for me anyway, Jump in the Line is not one of those. And I feel like it also is not overplayed. It's not something that you hear constantly over and over and over again. Like, so that when you do hear it, it kind of retains that joy or that like enthusiasm, but it's not something that's completely just like, I don't know.
That's a really good point. It is weird that it's not like, now I'm thinking about it, I'm like, I don't hear it that often. Like, I have to seek it out, and that seems weird to me considering how classic and good and amazing it is. But
I feel like, I guess if you put it on repeat for like hours on end, you'd probably be like, okay, enough. But
but that's like everything.
Sure. Yes.
Basically. Yeah. I mean, there's a couple songs on your list that I could probably do that and not get sick of them, but we'll get to that. No, that's awesome. I was wondering, I think that this was like the first song my wife remembers hearing.
Oh,
so I was like, damn, starting with like the setting the bar high.
No kidding. Oh my gosh.
Well, I think Jump the Line could be the answer to this next question. I think you can make a case for it, but what is objectively the best song of all time?
Well, you could make a case for Jump in the Line, but objectively, Let's Go Crazy by Prince is the best song of all time. And I will meet anyone in the parking lot and fight you if you think otherwise.
So the first sentence I put on my note is, I hope you picked this as the objectively greatest song of all time, because it is.
See, and now we don't have to fight and we can be friends forever.
Exactly.
No,
because seriously, it's
there is nothing wrong with it. Prince is like a really special artist to me. And like, I have like a talk, like you were asking about like Secret Weapon albums, which is what I call the ones where you have to like power through something. And for the longest time, and I think I have 2 Prince songs on my list, or maybe I took one off.
I think you must have taken one off.
I took one off. Okay. I could have honestly answered all of these questions with a Prince song, and I had to restrain myself not to, because
that'd be a fun episode to do with that.
Like just somebody's entire discography for like the questions. That would be, but I just think Prince is one of those musicians and artists and beings who is like so unbelievably powerful, so unbelievably magical, so unbelievably important to me that like I used to actively not listen to his music because it was so intense and so powerful for me that I would only use it for a Secret Weapon album. But when he passed, I was like really upset, and obviously the way that he died was pretty tragic. And I don't know if you know this, but his passing happened right after he was able to get the rights of his very last album returned to him, right? But because he didn't have a will, all of his music then got distributed in different ways, which is like completely heartbreaking as like somebody who really values creator-owned work. So I started listening to Prince all the time because I felt like, yes, he's no longer in a flesh body. He's now like particles and essence in the air for us. But he's like, this song is one of those ones that makes me feel like, I don't know, light beams shoot out of my fingers. And
I mean, it's like Purple Rain is such a preposterous all-time album. And this is the best song on Purple Rain, if you ask me, which is,
it's hard to choose the best out of an album that is
like every one of them is. But it's like, and just the way that it began, like it's perfect. Like I think about, like Prince was him. Like whenever Prince was him. Like and the fact that he could do anything. I still love, like, people would talk about, who was the interview? It was an interview with somebody. It was somebody like some big famous rock star, and they were like, "Who's the best guitar player in the world?" And they was like, "Prince," but nobody realizes it because that's not what he does.
Yeah.
And I still think of the footage of him at the
Super,
George Harrison, the Super Bowl, the George Harrison Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction thing, where they're doing "Why My Guitar Gently Weeps," and he just fucking takes over, and everybody is just like in awe, and then like throwing the guitar in the air, and it never comes down.
Amazing.
And then the Super Bowl is
every
when he's
performance ever, like ever, just a completely unbelievable, charismatic, talented being that is just unreal. It's unreal that we got to live at the same time.
I know.
It's like crazy to me.
Yeah.
This is one song that I was like, I could listen to this nonstop forever, no other music ever, and I would still be happy.
This is, when I was saying there's a couple songs in your list that I can listen and repeat, this is one of them because it's perfection. So,
thanks, Prince. We love you.
Yeah, Prince. Gosh. Okay. Well, it's going to be hard to follow that up, but going in a different, we must. So what's the song you used to love, but now you listen to it and you're like, maybe not.
I mean, okay. I feel like you on this list, you will have been able to pinpoint it. So Butterfly by Weezer.
Oh, thank God.
Because, okay, so look, like I said, 17-year-old Beth, big email kid, got really into Weezer. I still love Weezer a lot. Like I am not ashamed to say that I still love Weezer a lot. However, I really like the album Pinkerton, but like, yo, Butterfly, like, are you fucking kidding me, Rivers? Like, you should not have written this or had anything to do with whatever caused the inspiration for making this. Like, smell you on my hand for days? No, fuck you. No, I can't.
There's music. Like, I don't understand how that nobody in the process was like, hey, maybe we shouldn't do that. Or maybe like, don't put this on the album.
I mean,
like,
there's a bunch on there re-listening to on Pinkerton where I'm like, dude, what? Like, no, stop.
I don't. I was texting with our mutual friend Carl yesterday, and because I was telling him, I was like, oh, Beth and I are recording our episode tomorrow, and he was, I think I was supposed to tell you hi.
Oh, hi.
So hi from Carl. And I was like, I can't explain this, and I don't like, and this is not a judgment on anybody, but like Weezer is literally like one band that I genuinely loathe, and I can't even explain it. Like and when the Blue album came out, and I was like, I don't know, I mean, probably like 14 or something. Like, and Buddy Holly's a fucking banger.
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
Like, that's
of
like,
course.
and but God, I don't know, and I don't even know what it is. I don't even know why. Like, because there's plenty of music that is in this same realm, or like, because Carl was saying, like, oh yeah, like Weezer and Coldplay. I was like, I'm agnostic about Coldplay. I don't care about Coldplay. I was like, but Weezer just annoys me, and I don't know why. Like, my wife likes Weezer. And so
maybe they're you're on your list. Are they one of the ones that's like people like, but I just don't get it?
Would be, oh my God, that'd be a good one. Yeah.
Because I have something else. I have two Weezer songs on my list, which is so funny because like as much as they're like massively cringy, like especially some of the older albums, and like I respect a band that's like still trying to like make some new things and experiment, and I think that Weezer's had like a really bizarre journey, like as a band in general. I've seen them live a bunch of times. Like one of Carl and my professors and like good buddies, Alec Longstreth, is also a humongous Weezer fan. Alec did designed all of the animations for their most recent tour. Like he like worked.
Oh, that's cool.
With Weezer, like, which is like really exciting and really neat. And like, there's some newer songs that I think are really awesome, but I've fallen a lot off of the bandwagon, but they're one of the bands that I think I have like the most of their albums. I know like 90% of all the lyrics still. Like, I don't know. I also feel like I don't know how to explain why I love them. I just do.
Yeah, well, then it makes sense that I'm not sure that I can explain why I loathe them, but I just
they're a very divisive band for sure.
And again, like, and I'm not claiming any sort of like moral high ground. Sure, I love plenty of stuff. Who is, I mean, I have done an 80 episode podcast about the band Rancid, so like, I have no fucking legs to stand. I just in recent episodes have been gushing. We've been gushing about Celine Dion, and even had an episode where we talked about like Kenny G has an era of his career that's fucking amazing.
Hell yeah,
but anyway,
hell yeah.
But yeah, Butterfly though is like irredeemable.
Yeah, Butterfly is really problematic, and like, yeah, it makes me sad. It like, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. Oh, enough about that.
Yeah,
let's move on.
We're going to talk about them later. So
yeah, okay. I can't wait. Okay, well, what's a song that like people hate, somebody hates, I don't know, whatever context you want to have it, you love it.
Well, because I didn't know about you and Weezart.
Oh yeah,
I had on here Dominic the Donkey. Which, okay, did you know this song before this was on my list?
No, never.
What did you think when you heard it for the first time?
Well, my note is, yo, what the fuck? Like, what the actual fuck is this?
Oh, it's so stupid. It's so silly. It's so ridiculous. And it is, I'm Italian. Like, it is so Italian. It's like the silliest Christmas song that I think is still palatable, and it's so stupid and ridiculous, and like this the constant ha is like the like lyrical thing. There's also like so many, I don't know. It's sung in like a really heavy Italian accent that gotta be fake. It's like really like Super Mario Bros. Fake. Like it's very stereotypical, and it's also just like, there's so much joy I get from watching somebody listen to this song for the first time that like makes me love it even more. It makes my power grow.
Oh, I can see that. Yeah, it's amazing. I was wondering, like, because the accent stuff, I was like, is this offensive to Italian? It's pretty over
I mean,
top.
I'm sure, it's 2023. It's offensive to somebody, but it's also like,
absolutely.
As an Italian and currently the ambassador of Italians on this podcast, right? Like, I think it's funny.
Yeah.
And I think it's silly. And I think it's just as ridiculous as literally every other Christmas song.
Yeah. No, I think it's, I mean, the Christmas donkey. Okay. And then, yeah, the hee-haws just put it over the top. Like, I'm here for it. I was playing it in the house, and people, my wife and my kid were like, My favorite line is, and they talk Italian to him, and he even understands. Like, so, like, what the fuck are you saying? Like, you speak Italian to somebody, not you talk Italian to, like, even that lyric is ridiculously, like, stereotypical. I'm like, what are you saying? Like, it's so dumb. I love it. And also the person who sings that song pronounces Dominic as, like, Daminic. It's like, you're right.
Daminic Enki. And, like, kills me.
This is like the best pick for this question ever. This is amazing.
And like, I promise you, whatever folks are listening to this, if you don't know Dominic the Donkey and you go listen to it, you're gonna hate it. It's ridiculous. It's so dumb.
Hey, but that's the perfect answer for
and
this
I
question.
Didn't even know we were gonna record this in December, and this is still this is my answer.
It's so festive. Wonderful. I have like a Christmas playlist, and this is going on it now. Yes. So, and I can't wait to be in the car driving around with the family and it come on randomly.
And then you hear, ha.
Yeah. I mean, is it any more ridiculous than the hippopotamus for Christmas song? No.
And the hippopotamus for Christmas song is stupid because it's sung by like the fake kid voice, which is like, I love a hippopotamus for Christmas. Like, shut up.
Yeah, like either get an actual kid to do it or like sing in your fucking voice.
Yes.
Anyway.
No, I hate that song. But it is equal. It is on the same. It is the same tier of like idiotic Christmas songs.
You're right. That's like a good just subgenre of idiotic Christmas songs. Somebody needs to make
There's
that
a lot.
Playlist. There's a lot. Yeah, it'd be a long playlist. Okay, well, totally changing gears, and it's not Do You Realize, but I think it could be. But what is the most romantic song?
Ooh, it's Sunday Kind of Love by Etta James.
Yeah.
Etta is like I love her. I feel like all her songs are really romantic and really excellent, but the Sunday Kind of Love I feel like is like that aspirational, like, to me when I think about romance, there's also this element of like fantasy involved, and there's this element of like I want to have this thing that is not there's a difference between like day-to-day romance and then like like extreme romance, and I feel like this to me feels like a happy medium between the two.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I could listen to her sing anything. Hell, she could sing Dominic the Donkey, and I'd be fucking there. So.
Hell yeah, let's get that time machine action.
Yeah, right.
Hey, Anna, we want you to try out this new song.
God, probably shouldn't like say this out loud. Somebody's gonna do it with AI,
no,
and it's gonna be all our fault.
Don't do it. Respect her legacy.
Oh God. But yeah, this song, oh God, what a song. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I feel like there's this sort of, I don't know, like, yeah, grounded realness to this, that it's got, like you said, it kind of holds both of those ideas in one place, which is, I feel like, is a really hard thing to do.
I love also the build up in like one of the like later choruses when she's like, not Monday, not Tuesday, not Wednesday, not Thursday, not Friday, not even Saturday, but Sunday. Like the buildup she has of like, listen, I'm talking about a really specific thing, and like that the way she vocalizes that buildup, that tension, that excitement is just so beautiful.
Yeah, there's like such a it is like this sort of specificity of it, where it's like it's like it is this big feeling, but it's this, like you said, it's this very specific thing. I think when songs and music can capture that, it just heightens the impact of them. Yeah. Because it makes it much more, like, it makes it more relatable. Because we can, it's like, oh yeah, I know this feeling. Where if it's like really big, there's like a vagueness to it that it, again, still can have its power and has its place, but there's something to me that's really special about something like this because of that.
Well, it's that sweet spot of storytelling, right? Universality defined by specificity. And I think that that's like such an important aspect of telling a story in whatever format, whether it's comics or prose or poetry or music. It's like that's part of that.
Right. Yeah. Great song.
Yeah.
Great song. What is the song that changed your perspective on an artist?
Get ready for a 180 from Etta James.
Oh boy.
Paint the Town Red by Doja Cat.
Oh, hell yeah. So did it change your perspective for the better or for the worse?
For the better.
Okay.
I was really dismissive of Doja Cat. I don't know if I'm supposed to call her Doja or Doja Cat. So
I don't know.
Like I said, I'm a millennial, so I feel a little bit like an imposter. Yeah, Miss Cat. But I was really dismissive, and I thought maybe some of her stuff was like too silly or too ridiculous for me. And then I heard Paint the Town Red, and I was like, oh shit, like, welcome to my best of list, ladies. Like, I was just like, there's something, I have a friend, like, this is an embarrassing admit, but I'm terrible at finding new music. Like, I'm a creature of habit. I like to listen to the same things over and over again. But I have a friend, thank you, Nina Shin, if you're listening, who makes monthly playlists of like new stuff, old stuff, whatever. Every single month, she adds to it all month.
Oh, wow.
And I just subscribed to her doing that, and I listened to all this new stuff.
Awesome.
And she had this song on there, and I was like, oh.
Yeah.
Like, what a gift.
Oh, yeah. I've been telling myself that I need to listen to more Doja Cat, and so this song rules. Like,
oh, it was so good.
And the reason that I want to listen to more Doja Cat is so I'm pretty sure this is the story, but she grew up, like, her family were members of Alice Coltrane's ashram.
Whoa.
And Alice Coltrane is probably like my favorite artist and musician to ever live.
Wow.
And so when I learned that, I was like, oh my God, okay, I need to know more about this and hear. And so, yeah, this song just, it's so good. Yes. It is so good.
I just feel like it's one of those ones that, like, similar, we've talked about a bunch that as soon as you hear kind of the opening riff or the opening couple of notes, you're like, oh yeah, like, I'm here for this. And I feel like when this one showed up in my life, and now anytime it comes on, I'm like, oh, this is a, like, immediately, like, start dancing a little, immediately sing along, like, just very much like in a better mood kind of thing. I love a song where when the first 2 seconds you just know. Well, that makes a lot of sense. I think it kind of changed my perspective on her too. I want to, like, I need to go listen to more, but it's not even I had like a negative view. It was just, I was just dismissive, I was kind of like, all right, whatever. And then this came out, and I was like, ooh, just kidding. Time to go back and listen to everything and see if I need to maybe reconsider.
Yeah, exactly. Well, are you a big lyrics person? Like,
Yeah.
do you pay? Okay.
But like, okay, wait, sorry. What do you mean by big lyrics person?
Like, lyrics are an important part of a piece of music to you.
Or like yes and no.
Okay. Can bad lyrics ruin an otherwise good song for you?
Define bad.
I have this conversation a lot when it comes to Rancid. So, because they did it. So they did an album. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm going to do this.
No, but please. I'm here. I'm ready.
So there's a whole lot of questionable, problematic things about Rancid. And the main guy had a wife that they got married when she was 18. He was 29. You can
Ruh-roh.
Yeah. It was like, not good. Not good. And then they got divorced and it was really nasty. And so then they had an album come out.
Oh boy.
Rancid did, like right around this time. And this is like we were saying with Butterfly, like, this is a conversation that my friend and I have all the time. It's like, how did nobody be like, hey Tim, like maybe you shouldn't put this song on the album that says, if you lose me, girl, you lose a good thing. And that's one thing the whole, it's so bad. And so, but anyway, like there are songs on that album where I'm like, oh, this is pretty good. And then the lyrics start and it's shit about that. I'm like, okay, nope, fuck it. Can't do it. So that's what I mean.
Okay. Because I feel like there are some times where I'm listening to something and I don't really process what the lyrics are saying, but I still like the song, or like this lyrics are kind of like nonsensical. And to me, that doesn't equate to being like bad, but also like, I think that, there's oh boy. I mean, there's plenty of songs that are, I could pull examples of like the late 70s where it's like, you shouldn't use that, but also are like banger songs, right?
Right.
So like there's like a weird mix of like, what does bad mean?
I know.
But I love lyrics. I mean, as like a writer, and like I think there's also there's some really fun play that I find lyrics have, and so I like lyrics. Yeah.
Okay, so what are your favorite lyrics? Let's long drawn out way to get here.
Okay, the entirety of the song "TikTok" by Kesha.
Oh hell yes! Wow.
I think Kesha, and I don't know, because she also another musician who's had like a tragic backstory, but I'm like a creator, but I think, and I don't know for sure, so I'm really sorry if this is not true. I don't know if she writes her own lyrics. I don't know if she's the lyricist as well. Like, I'm unclear.
Yeah, I don't know either.
But I want to believe she does.
We're going to give her credit, especially for this song.
And I feel like this song, and specifically the songs that were on this album that I'm forgetting if it was from Animal or Cannibal, I don't remember. But like, her lyrics are so ridiculous. Like,
I know.
So ridiculous.
This is like an all-time bop.
Yes.
This song.
Yes.
And the fact that I was thinking about this, like she was like 20.
Oh, I know.
And she made this, and like it's on her debut album. It's like, oh my god. I mean, and like there's a lot of really awful shit like around Dr. Luke and all that stuff, and which but fuck, this song is so good, and the lyrics, like the whole thing is just. It is such a vibe.
I love the party don't start till I walk in, brush my teeth with a bottle of Jack. Like, I love like TikTok. I mean, even though like the chorus of it is really great. And this was also before the app TikTok. And I'm like,
I know.
Did this spark that app? Like, I don't know, because it's spelled the same even.
I feel like she should be getting residuals or something.
I agree. I agree. And there's also there's so many Kesha songs where I feel like the lyrics are just unreal and just amazing and so funny and very much a product of like a 20-something-year-old at the time of when this were produced, like 2010s, 20 whatevers.
Yeah. And
it's like, this is perfect glimpse of society.
Yeah. And it's, I think that's like a really good point though, because she's really funny, but it's not like, it's really in a really smart way.
Yes.
Like because I think a lot of people, probably at least people that in the circles that I run in more experimental music, do not give shit like this enough credit for how clever it is and how like, because it's like, oh, it's just some dumb pop song. It's like, no, it is so much more. Oh, I fucking love this song so much. I hadn't listened to it in a long time. So when it was on here and I was prepping for this, I was like, yeah, this is like a song I could probably listen to over and over again and be pretty fucking happy to, honestly.
This album, and also like Your Love Is My Drug is on this album too, and I really like that one too. And then
song.
There's like also like I feel like, and again, I don't know how much creative control she has over lyrics. I don't know how much creative control she had over like her music videos, but her like persona in general. But I just think she's done such an amazing job of like her videos are unhinged, her lyrics are unhinged, but she's also like fully aware that that's what she's doing. And I just a complete icon,
yep.
in my opinion.
Yep. Oh, I am. You will get no argument from me.
I love how like whiplash my list is.
Oh, I do too. I was so scared that this was going to be like one that you used to love and now you like found it cringeworthy or something. I was going to be really
never.
I was going to be really upset. Oh. So okay. Well, we're now into the section where you're supposed to pick 2 questions, but I think you picked 4.
Yeah, I did. And also we skipped some from the regular list. You know that?
Well, those 2 go at the end.
Oh, okay. I'm so sorry. Got it.
Yeah, I changed the order of, and I've changed it in the questionnaire, but I sent it to you a while ago, so I hadn't changed it then. Yeah,
no problemo.
Those are like the 2 big questions, so I leave them for the end.
I see.
So you picked 4, so I'm just going to pick 2. Are there 2 of these questions you want to talk about more than the others?
No, I want you to. The only one that I did not answer is what's a lyric you thought you knew but learned of something else. So don't ask that one.
Okay, so I can just pick 2 of the other ones.
And then I would say, because we've already addressed it, what song have you or can you listen to the most? We've already talked about that. So I would pick from the other ones.
Okay. Well, I always like this question because this is where I always get to learn about new stuff on it most of the time. Is what is the last song you completely fell in love with?
Ooh, Tangerine by Glass Animals. I realized it came out in 2020, which is not that new, but like I have fallen head over heels for Glass Animals. I think that album Dreamland is really I think all their albums from start to finish are really well crafted, really well done. But Tangerine in particular is like really, really excellent.
Yeah, I really like that. I had never heard of this before, and I really liked it. Like the only the word that just kept coming to mind, and this is kind of lame, but it's like this is just like really cool.
Yeah, it is. It is really cool. It's really. Have you listened to Glass Animals before? Any of their stuff?
No.
Oh shit! No,
totally off my radar.
Dude, you gotta. There's like an album where specifically because I got them on vinyl because I'm that person, but they're really good, and there's one where at the end it's like a infinite loop.
Lock Groove.
Yeah, thank you. Of course you would know what that is. But I love that, and it's just so I don't know. I really like all their albums. They have really distinct, different flavors. That's cool. I think they're really, really great. It's like to me, it's like I love Animal Collective, but like Glass Animals is like a step above, I think.
Yeah, I always love when it's. I mean, I'm here for whatever, but like when bands or artists sort of. I don't know if reinvents a little extra, but like kind of reinvent themselves every album. It's like a different. It's incredible to me that when you hear that, it's like, God, how the hell did you do this again?
Yeah, yeah. And Dreamland also is one where they recorded it entirely during the pandemic, and so they were like distanced and separate recording, and then they did the performance of Tangerine on SNL was the first like remote musical guests that they did, and they did like this really cool video for it that like was really special. Anyway, it's worth looking into and like how that album was like created. So
yeah, that's cool. I really liked the cover too. Like the cover just again, it's just there. It kind of captures the whole vibe of this music, and I appreciate that very much. So yeah, I was stoked to learn about this. So this is the great thing about doing this podcast is I get to learn about music too. Okay. Yes. All right. Which one am I going to ask? Okay. People don't ever pick this one. So what's the sexiest song?
Ooh, Hey by the Pixies.
Okay. Explain yourself.
Never. I don't have to. Listen to it and you will be immediately aroused. Like, I don't know what to tell you. Like, it's Hey. Like, it is so sexy. The bass line is so sexy. Like, just the song itself is like, I don't know. It's the like guitar riff for, like, I don't know. It's like an immediate, like, this is really lewd, but it's an immediate panty dropper. Like, I don't know what to tell you. Like, I can't possibly justify this decision because it's just a fact, you know?
Well,
do you disagree? Do you dare disagree, Brad, with fact?
So I'm going to admit something that I don't really talk about, but like, I don't care about the Pixies, and I've never really cared about the Pixies. Like, I love Kim Deal. Fine. I fucking think the Breeder's amazing, and Frank Black seems like a total asshole.
Sure, yeah, of course.
Which is fine. Like, plenty of, you know, I don't know. And it's weird. I don't understand why it's like one of those bands that, considering all the stuff that in my life that I've loved, and you know, the path I've taken through music, I'm like, how am I not in love with the Pixies? But it's just like one of those things that just passed me by.
Wow.
Yeah. So, but I'm gonna re-listen to this like with that context, because you know, I was like, I don't know what the hell this is a pick for. And so
But did you already re-listen to it?
Well, I did, yes, but I was just, it was, you know, I wasn't.
Just think about, like imagine. Okay, so when you go to play this one, like imagine. Like, don't think about the artists, like the performers for it, right? Like, just think about and listen to like the way that the bass and the guitar talk to each other. Like, it is just, it's sexy. It's sexy. I don't know what to tell you.
No, you're probably right. Like, I'm going to go into it with a different, like, just get all my baggage.
Yeah.
Like, I don't really have baggage. I just don't, I mean, in some ways I do, because it's one of those things, you know, I mean, like, people are like, oh my God, this is the greatest band. You have to love them. You have to love them. It's like, yeah, but I don't.
Yeah,
like,
I mean, I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to hype it up to that. Like, I think that, like, of course, also you could listen to it and be like, I don't know what the fuck that's talking about. That's fine too. I got no problems there. I just think, like, I don't have a good enough reason to articulate like why I think it is attractive or such a good song.
Yeah.
I think that it purely has to do with like the musicality of it, but I think that like the Pixies are a band that I think get really overhyped because people are obsessive about it. People are really like, they drink the Kool-Aid, you know, and I'm not to say that I'm not one of those folks, but I just think like there are some Pixie songs that are great and there are some Pixie songs that suck. Like, it's just that's how it is. That's the nature of it, you know, but I think of all of them, I think Hey is pretty solid. So.
Well, I trust you. You picked TikTok as your favorite lyric, so I'm fucking.
So I've by the time we got to this question, I feel like my street cred is here.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so here we go. Now it's to the home stretch here.
Okay.
So what is the song that means the most to you? And it's not necessarily the song itself, but you associate it with something or someone or an experience.
This one is I think the most embarrassing song on my list is "Call Me Maybe" by Carly Rae Jepsen.
I don't think it's embarrassing, but
I mean, you never know, right? Like, I think that I really like this song, number one. Number two, I think Carly Rae Jepsen is an overlooked pop star.
She, in my world, is the pop star.
Well, you have a small child.
Well, but
no. I mean,
Emotion is one of the great albums of the last like 15 to 20 years. I'm sorry.
It's really good. No, she's really great. I think people don't give her enough credit because Call Me Maybe is so over the top poppy. But this song in particular is really important to me because when you were talking about how Kokomo was like playing nonstop in your head, I was under a curse at one point in my life where Call Me Maybe from the nanosecond I woke up until the nanosecond I lost consciousness at night played on repeat in the back of my head.
Oh my God.
Like forever. And the thing that ended up breaking the curse is actually I met my partner. And so this song is really important to me because I love this song. It was amazing. A curse and also it was lifted. And so this is kind of like quote unquote our song. Oh
my God, that's the best.
So the curse was lifted and also I can now freely listen to it without it getting stuck in my head, which is maybe a little bit powerful as well.
That's incredible. Oh my God, that is the best answer.
No joke. I kept tally of how long. It was over 40 days of
oh my God,
just constantly, like never stopping.
Wow. I mean, it is like the bop of bops, but like it's 40 days.
It's an incredible earworm. Like it's an incredible earworm.
Yeah. No, I fucking love Carly Rae Jepsen.
Oh, great.
I have a friend who lives out in DC, and for a while they had like a Carly Rae Jepsen like punk rock cover band.
Cool.
And then and he works for NPR Music, so he got to meet her, and it's like, oh, I'm so fucking jealous.
Oh, that's cool. My niece is she's about to turn 10, but her very first concert was my sister took her to Carly Rae Jepsen.
Oh man. Yeah, I'm like, my daughter really like she had a moment, like I kind of got her into it early on. Like now, like right now it's just like all Taylor Swift all the time.
Sure.
But like,
naturally.
Like I Really Like You was what her favorite song for a while. And so I have these, I'm like, okay, at some point I'm going to get her to like start listening to other stuff again. And like Carly Rae Jepsen is going to be one of my, I'm like, remember you like, let's go back this way. But we'll see.
Love it.
I don't the only thing I heard I don't like is that Owl City collaboration, because I don't understand what the fucking appeal of that is.
I'm not a fan of it either, but it's like, I respect somebody trying something new. Like I feel like as like a fellow artist, there's a part of me that when musicians do something really out of their wheelhouse or something that's really different, I'm like, I've tried not to judge it immediately, because I want to be like, I mean, this is so dumb. Not like Carly needs me, but like I'm just like, yeah, hey man, try it out. Maybe it doesn't work this time. It's okay. Like fail and that's fine.
Oh, absolutely.
But like she doesn't. She's not like, God, what is Beth gonna think?
I don't know. You might get a stern email.
Carly, hit me up. I just want you to know I'm supportive.
Hey, maybe you guys can collab.
Oh my God.
All right. Well, we're coming to the end here. So, Beth Hetland, what is your favorite song?
Brad, I'm so sorry. It's Say It Ain't So by Weezer. Which I'm
not gonna make the joke. I can make the I'm not gonna do it.
Yeah. I know you saw it coming a mile away as soon as we talked about Butterfly, but like, man, oh man, Say It Ain't So, I think is, again, it's from the Blue album, which I think is their greatest, still continues to be their greatest album, their debut album. But Say It Ain't So is like, it is, I don't know. It's one of my karaoke songs. It is fun to sing along to. It is really emotional once you read into the backstory about it. Like, I have a lot of buddies who just like, this song is like very important to like my, like how I feel like I viewed myself of like, I love Weezer. This is my Weezer identity.
Yeah.
But I also think like this question was really hard to answer, because it was a question of like, how do you define favorite? Like, what does that mean? Mm-hmm. And I think that to me, I was trying to think about like what has stood the test of time so far. And that is certainly one that continues to come back as like, oh, I still get a lot of joy from this.
Yeah. I don't hate this song. I don't.
You can be honest, it's fine.
No, I don't like this. Like the Blue album is it's like the Weezer, and because it's the one that when I was, again, it came out when I was in high school and was into quote unquote like alternative music or whatever. And so like I remember a friend of mine, like he was fucking obsessed with My Name Is Jonas.
Yeah.
Like that. And and so like, no, I mean it's one of those songs where I can see the name of it and I can just hear the chorus. Yep. It is all like very well written. Like I wouldn't choose to listen to Weezer just because it's not, but if I had to, this song is, it's not Buddy Holly. Buddy Holly is the Weezer song to me.
Yes.
But and I don't know anything about the backstory behind this. I'm gonna take a read that because I'm always
it's worth looking into in the same way that I think like a lot of the Weezer B-sides are quite a bit better than some of their like albums.
Michael and Carly.
Oh, right. And Suzanne, dude. Like fucking Michael and Carly is incredible. Like,
was that the Buddy Holly sing? I don't know. It was one of the Blue album singles. But,
it's from the deluxe edition and like the re-release of that. But there's so many really good like songs that didn't make their like albums and stuff that I just feel like are really like, I don't know. They really show to me kind of like what the crux of the start of the band was. And I also think had a lot to do with Matt Sharp, who was a part of the band early on. And I think like I loved the Rentals. The Rentals are incredible.
Yeah.
I love
that was
them.
like,
I mean,
that was sort of how I got into synthesizers, honestly, was like hearing the rentals when I was 14 or whatever. I was like, ooh, what are those sounds?
The Moog magician himself, Matt Sharp. Yeah. I mean,
is he not in the band anymore?
No, he left the band for the rentals, and then they've gone through several other bassists since then. But their current one, hold on. I'm like worried that I mixed up his name. Is it Matt Sharp?
I think so.
No, because Scott Sharp is their current bassist. So now I'm like, oh shit. Oh god, Alex gonna obliterate. Alec, I'm so sorry.
I'm like, I don't know. I didn't even know the rentals were still a band.
I have to Google it really quick.
No, it is Matt Sharp.
Okay.
I'm looking at it on Wikipedia.
Oh, Lord Almighty. Oh, that was really, oh my gosh. That was really a touch and go moment for me. Anyway, but
we're safe.
He left, and then their next bassist, who was on the Green album, was Mikey Welsh, and Mikey Welsh is the one who passed away kind of unexpectedly. But like, I think you hear their music shift and evolve as like Matt was on Blue and Pinkerton, and then Mikey was on Green, and then like Maladroit was, and then stuff started getting really weird, but that's when Scott joined. And again, like, I respect it. Like, you gotta experiment, you gotta do your thing, but also like Say It Ain't So for me, and like really thinking about like part of the history of Say It Ain't So has to do with like Rivers's stepdad, like dad relationship. I don't know, the guitar, again, I feel like it comes back to like the musicality of the guitar riff and the bass and like the conversation that they're having through the music, and I think that that's really powerful. So I think, you know, Pixies are obviously a big influence on Weezer, which makes sense why I like both of these. But I know like the big gap in my music history of that is like I never really got into Nirvana, which I feel like I would have really been obsessed with had that come into my life at that time. But I, alas, was stunted in my own musical growth.
Nirvana was the one for me. Like that was like, I'm not sitting here today doing this podcast because Nevermind came out when I was in 6th grade. It was perfect timing, and it changed. I feel so silly saying it, but it's like it literally like changed the trajectory of my entire life.
And that's what happened to me with Weezer, is like that was the timing of it, the group of friends that introduced it to me. I mean, ultimately Weezer was introduced by my older sister, and then like brought in from one of my best friends in high school, and like kind of took the path of like Weezer, Pixies, Strokes, the Hives, like that direction. And then instead of going, I think, with the Nirvana path, which I think would have just shifted it, right? Like, but if we look at the multiverse timeline. But my first, one of the other, this is like way too long, so feel free to edit all this out. But my very first concert I went to was Weezer, and it was actually the opening for Weezer was Tenacious D, which is another one of my favorite bands ever. But
Jack Black is a national treasure.
He really is. I got to see him do a Saxaboom performance early on, and like, oh my god, it was amazing. And I should have put a Tenacious D song as sexiest song, but I didn't, because sexiest is different than most erotic. But
I saw a thing the other day. I was on TikTok. It was maybe at Jonas Brothers concert, and Jack Black shows up. He's wearing like the Bowser costume, and he sings the Peaches song like just before. I don't know if it was like I don't know where it was in the concert, but everyone was just like, what the fuck is going on? And it was incredible. I was just like, I love him so much.
I love him. He's incredible. And so that first concert was also like, I wasn't supposed to.
That's amazing.
I wasn't supposed to go though, because I had a broken ankle. And my mom was like, absolutely not. And so I lied to her and snuck out and went with my friend Maggie. And ran into my mother, who was also going because of Tenacious D. So she was going for the D, and like we ran into each other, and we were both like, this didn't happen. With her friends and holding, this is again really lewd, but they had as part of their merchandise from the tour, cum rags. And so I ran into my mom while she was holding cum rags for her friends.
Amazing.
And I wasn't supposed to be there because I went and snuck out to see Weezer.
Right.
And she was like, what the fuck?
That is incredible.
So.
Well, that's a perfect ending Like literally, I don't think we can top that. This was an absolute delight. Thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you so much for having me on, Brad. This has been so fun. I really appreciate it.
This was awesome. And so everybody, Tinder comes out March 12th.
Yeah.
And you can pre-order it now. I don't know exactly when this will come out. It'll probably be before March.
Sure.
But links in the show notes, as always.
Yeah.
All right.
And also you can find me on social media and stuff with at Beth Hetland, Hetland, just one word. So
awesome. And and I'll link all your stuff.
Okay, thanks.
So
thanks, pal.
Yeah. Hey, that's the whole point of this, is to like spread the word. This is not about me. This is about you.
Tell everyone about my love of Weezer.
Exactly. And hey, I don't know. I got nothing. All right. Thank you again. This is awesome.
Thank you.
And there we go. And that's an episode.
Woohoo!
This was fun.
This was great.
I hope you enjoy your break.
Yes, thank you. I hope you make it to Friday successfully.
Thank you. It's only Tuesday, isn't it? Shit. I thought it was Wednesday. Fuck.
I'm sorry.
All right. It'll be all right. And I guess I'll see you in April.
Hell yeah, hopefully. My dude. Yes.
Awesome.
Cool.
All right, Beth.
All right. See you.
Bye.
Happy holidays. Happy New Year.
You too.
Bye.
Once again, thank you to Beth Hetland for taking the time, for going up to the list and all those things. Oh, it's so good. And yeah, I keep thinking, and I really want to do these episodes of, I'll probably do them on Patreon, if like where it's a condensed episode, like 6 or 7 questions and you can only pick one artist. Cause yeah, a Prince one would be really good. So like the Velvet Underground and Alice Coltrane, maybe. I don't know. Anyway, something to think about. Anyway, Beth's book, Tinder. Again, March 12th. Pre-order it now. Go to Beth's website. Look at all her stuff. There's just lots of cool stuff. Thank you all for listening. You know where to find me. Foxy Digitalis, all the social media. Patreon.com/Foxy Digitalis. You can, for $3 a month, you can get these episodes early and you get the extended version with the exclusive Patreon section. And yeah, I think that's it. Until next week, just keep on listening to whatever the hell you want.